Hi everyone, Annie's here. Welcome to our weekly money date. I'm going to talk to you about today a couple of things you can still do to get your finances in order before the year ends. Now, I know everybody's getting kind of in this holiday mood and everything is being put on hold. More stress is being added to our life because there's commitments we have, money that we didn't plan and going to spend, and so the list is on and on and on. I've been hearing from clients today. Hi Cynthia, good to have you here. And so I thought that we need to kind of sort through all of that noise, because all it is noise, and there are only so many things that you can focus on that are going to make an impact. So I want you to take steps to make the biggest impact into your financial life. Okay, now we're gonna get to January, where a lot of you will take steps to New Year's resolutions, but before we get there, let's just kind of focus on what you can do now. Hi Wanda, good to have you here. Sorry, my phone is beeping here. So all right, here's what I've got. It's only 4 things that I want you to work on. Now, one of them has a deadline that's coming up. Okay, so I'm going to start with that first. December 15th, right, is the deadline for you to change your health insurance plan, or if you are looking into it, whether you're looking at plans individually, right, and you shopping out there in open market, or maybe you are in a Medicare plan and you need to select a different option. Maybe perhaps, and this is depending on what your open enrollment season is at your employer's site, but maybe it coincides with this date as well. But sometime before the end of the year, make these selections. Now, for those of you who are shopping on the open market, December 15th is when you've got to make your selection for a health insurance plan. Now, I think this is more of a deadline for myself, because I've got to confirm what I'm going to do next year, but it is on my calendar in big red letters for tomorrow, and I'm going to make the final selection. I think I know what I want because I already gotten quotes. It's just a matter of, are we going to combine the plans? Because currently Yuri has one, Liam has one, and I have one. So, all right, that's your number one kind of hot item to get done like this week, like tomorrow. Make that a to-do list or to-do item on your calendar. Make that a meeting with yourself. Okay, now number 2, and you still have time for this, but I want you to think about maxing out contributions to your retirement plans. Now, there are different types of retirement plans out there. What I'm talking about here, and and it would make sense if you're working for an employer. Hi, Erica, good to have you here. Or you have one of these what's called self-managed 401ks or solo 401ks. So I'm talking about a retirement plan that's provided by your employer. So whether it's a 401k, 403b, 457. If you have a simple IRA, right, this is kind of what we have here at Main Street. So if you want to make your final contributions, this is when you need to do it. Now, 2 reasons, very simple 2 reasons to do that. It helps you save for retirement, okay? That's probably the most obvious reason, but I'm going to say it. So that's reason number 1. Number 2, it helps you reduce your taxable income. So if you're looking for opportunities of how you can reduce taxable income, this is one of those options. Now, it needs to make sure, if you're looking for tax deductions, right, reducing taxable income, make sure it doesn't go into the Roth component, right? Because that doesn't help you so much with taxes. It still does help you with saving for retirement. Now, the other types of retirement plans that are typical and popular out there, such as SEP IRA, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, those still have time for you to put money into. And that's usually before you file your tax return, right? So you don't have a hard deadline to do that by the end of the calendar year, but you do have a hard deadline to do that before you file tax return. Okay, so I want you not to get confused with those 2. If you have a retirement plan that's provided by your work, that's what you need to be focusing on, okay? So I want you to save for retirement, right? Because everybody should have that goal down the road of financial independence, right? If that makes you more exciting. But I also want to make sure that you did not miss out on any tax opportunities. Okay, number 3 on my list is also kind of timely, but make sure that you've used funds in your FSA or a flexible spending account. okay? This is also if you work for an employer and you have a plan that you've been funding all year long, right? Now is the time to use those dollars, because the disadvantage of FSA account, right? And the funds can be used for medical expenses out of pocket, right? So whatever your plan doesn't cover, and any out of pocket expenses, co-pays, deductibles, and things like that, that's when you need to tap into and get the funds out of there. So I hope that you didn't overfund it for this year, because all you can carry forward is into the next calendar year, right, into 2020, is $500. So take a look if you have an FSA plan, if you need to tap into and get reimbursements, right, from that plan. And also think about what you're doing for next year. Was this year a successful year and you really benefited from the fact that you had pre-tax dollars going into this account and then you used it, right, to pay for medical related expenses? So there's kind of two sides to this. And then finally, but not the most urgent, but still I think on the list, hi Rhonda, good to have you here. Make sure that you've considered changing your tax withholdings, okay? Now, we are kind of all in this quandary at the moment, right? Because 2018 was the first calendar year where the new tax law went into effect as far as changes with itemized deductions versus standard deductions. So I think there's still a lot of confusion with people, right? What makes more sense? So I want you to send an email or pick up a phone or send a text message to your tax preparer, okay? I've been on the phone back and forth with my accountant, my CPA, all this week, right? Now, depending on the complexity of your tax return and your financial situation, you probably will need to sit down and really do in-depth planning as to what would the next year look like. But if you're thinking that you may need to be withholding more taxes, or you're feeling that you've gotten already together with your tax preparer, hi Barbara, good to have you here, then make sure you make those adjustments, right? So ask your employer, right? Can you make changes to my withholding so that next paycheck that you're gonna get in is gonna have proper selections. Now, some of these steps are kind of boring, okay? So this is my little warning to you. But believe me, they're necessary in order to make sure you come out strong and feeling that you've accomplished something. And it only takes a little bit of time. So for those reasons, you have no excuses not to get them done, okay? Let me know if you have questions that are related to these 4 items that I discussed today. But remember, changing your healthcare plan, you have a deadline, which is December 15th. Everything else, hi Amy, good to have you here. Everything else can wait until December 31st. But again, we're about to get into holiday season. Why do you want to deal with this then, when you can accomplish it now? All right? Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week.